and welcome to another episode of Kuska Gym Live. Here in our studio, we have Dr. Moonshine.
Hey, it's Dr. Moonshine. How's everything in the world of the listeners? I'm sure it's fine and dandy because it's nice and sunny outside.
Thank you, Dr. Moonshine. Okay, today we have a really special episode. Dr. Moonshine is going to help us decode boy babble. But first, we have a couple of questions for her. The first question we have for you today is, what is boy babble?
Boy babble is the speak that boys use to explain themselves. Like, if he says, if you're talking to him and you don't really know him, he'd be like, oh, hey. But if you know him, you're like best friends, oh, hey, what are you doing today? Something like that. He'd explain himself more. And depending on the type of boy, there'd be different types of babble. And if there could be dirty babble, clean babble, best friend babble, crushing on you babble, multiple types of babble, normal babble, not caring babble, compassionate babble, sad babble.
Thank you, Dr. Moonshine. This can go on for a long time, so I'll stop you there. Now, we're taking the polls right now, and we'll see what type of babble rates in the most.
Really? Cool.
And it looks like we have crush babble comes up with a 64% is the highest. So it looks like you'll be explaining how that works.
Okay, crush babble. Well, there's two types of this. There could be the babble where he knows you and you've been best friends forever, or there's the babble where you're just mere acquaintances. And he's just crushing on you because he's crushing on you. Which doesn't really explain itself, but whatever. Anyway, if you're best friends, then he'd be like, oh, hey, what's up? How's everything going? And he'd start like a normal conversation with you. Which would be like, how are you? How's it going? How's your cousins? What are you doing this weekend? And then he could say, you want to go to like the movies? And being best friends, you'd probably say yeah. And then he'd want to think that slowly you'd get to know each other better. And eventually he'd babble on to ask you out. He would probably be shocked and whatnot, but just take it as it comes. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Dr. Moonshine. We'll be back after this short message. And we're back with Kuska Gym Live. Here we have Dr. Moonshine, and she will
Explain before the break.
What'd you say?
I was going to suggest to the dear host to explain what we were talking about before the break.
Why don't you take it away?
Okay, fine. She started us off, our host started us off by talking about how we're going to describe babble. Boy babble. Boy babble, I said, could be anything. And the polls came in, and I'm here to discuss crush babble. Like crushing, how the boy's crushing on you babble. What he would say, what he would do, how he would act. And before the break, I rounded up on saying about best friend babble. When he's best friends with you, and he wants to go the next step further. As his friends would probably say to him. But now we're going to talk about mere acquaintance babble. When you're just mere acquaintances and you've only seen each other, say, in the hallways 3 times and you only know each other for a little bit. And when he's probably going to start off saying, hi, how are you? Depending on where you are, if you're in class, he'll say, what do you think about this topic? He'll maybe even ask you how to help him. And he could say, I don't understand question 3. Can you help me? And then once you'd help him, he'd probably say, oh, thank you so much. How can I repay you? You could probably say, oh, I don't know. And he could probably say, well, why don't I take you out to a movie or something? Or to dinner, or to the show, or.
Now you sound like a seal. Thank you, Dr. Moonshine. We'll be back again after the break.
There's a break?
Oh, yeah, that pretty much sums up our episode today. Well, good night and drive home safely. And if you're still sitting at home, Just don't sit on the couch for forever unless you're listening to us. Thank you, and good night.
Good night. Did you get that right at the end? Did you?
It's over. You can stop talking now. Go away.
Oh.
Get out of the studio. I'm shooing you out the door.
No, I'm not coming back. Oh, she got the wrench. Oh, the pig. Oh, funk. Ouch.